potential due to a system of charges. It is nothing big. If you already understood the force in a multiple charges or force in a system of charges or field in a system of charges, if you already understood that part, then in this case it will be very simple for you to understand this, that is potential due to a system of charges. So what we want a point and we want some number of charges. Let us say this is Q1, this is Q2, this is Q3, and for simplicity I am going to just take it as Qn. It is the nth charge. So I am going to draw the lines. This is my point P where I am going to find the potential. And there are n number of charges. It is not necessary that I should show only 3 or only 4. For this, distance will become R1, this will R2, R3, and this I am going to take as Rn. So distances will be labeled potential due to the first charge. Now just for simplicity, just describe the diagram. What is the diagram contains? Consider a system of charges containing charges Q1, Q2, Q3 up to Qn. At a distance, what is the distance? R1, R2, R3 up to Rn from a point P. First sentence daga astu baribeku. Then next, what is the next part? Just directly you can write the potential due to Q1. Potential due to Q1. What will be the potential due to Q1? Directly I can write it as V1 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 divided by R1. Similarly, you can just use the word similarly. V2 is equal to potential due to the second charge. No need to write the explanation again. Just write the equation 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 divided by R2. That's it. Then, if you want, you can write for V3 also, Vn also. We can go on writing for those things. Just I will take the last one. It will be Vn. It will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It will be Qn divided by Rn. Next, what is the total potential? Total potential is the algebraic sum. V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus it goes on up to Vn. So that is the potential. Total potential will be equal to the sum of potentials due to individual charges. What I am going to do next, you must be able to guess. It will be V is equal to, substitute the values. What is V1? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by R1 plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 by R2. It goes on till the last term, that is plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Qn divided by Rn. Next step, simple one. Just take the common terms outside. What are the common terms? It is only 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It is summation. Summation of what? The charges divided by the distances. How we are going to identify the charges? We are going to use an index I for both. So Qi divided by Ri. What are the values for that I? That I starts from 1 and it goes to n. So that is my final equation for the potential due to a system of charges. Always it is not the situation that our point P will be at the origin or near to the origin. In those cases, we are going to have the coordinates of the point P as well as the coordinates of individual charges. Sometimes the charge will be distributed all over the place, like continuous charge distribution. It can be a linear charge distribution, it can be a surface charge distribution, or it can be on the surface of a sphere, or it can be a volume charge density. It can go anywhere. It can be distributed as the situation demands. So in this case we are going to study about just the equations. It is just the extension of the equation which I wrote just few minutes ago. So first one, it will be V equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It was Qi divided by Ri. Now in this case, this was the equation which I had written just few minutes ago. That was summation of I equal to 1 to n. That was the generalized form of that equation. The only additional thing I want is if my point P is not at the origin. Here, this was the diagram. Just this was Q1, this was Q2, this was Q3, and this was Qn. And this was, I said, it was my point P, and it was assumed to be at origin. Let us say we have our coordinate system like this, and our origin is here. Now what is going to happen? I want to get the distance from O to P. Then I want the distance from O to Q1. Then I want the distance from O to Q2. Then O to Q3. Then O to Qn. I need to find out all the distances. This one will become R. This one will become R1, R2, R3, Rn. Now, I am interested in this distance, P to Q1. In that case, it is going to become R minus R1. This distance will become R minus R2. This distance will become R minus R3. This distance will become R minus Rn. In that way, the distances are going to change their directions and change their values. So in that way, if my system is distributed in this way, in that case, that old formula will not help me. Instead, I want the distances to be written as R minus R1, R minus R2, R minus R3, or R minus Rn. In that way, I want to modify this equation. So it is going to become R minus Ri. Because this R gives us the position of P, and R1, R2, R3 are going to give us the positions of individual charges. Now, you may think that this R1 is greater than this R. No, in this case, yes, it will be. For geometry's sake, it is greater than that one. But for simplicity of calculation, we'll just take the mod of that one. We are not going to get involved with the negative signs. We are going to just take the distance, because ultimately potential is a scalar quantity. So that is about the, if the charges are scattered away from the origin and our observation point P is also away from the origin. Next, if the charge is distributed, instead of having individual charges, Q1, other Q2, other Q3, other Qn, other, if it is not as individual charges, it is scattered all over the place, then instead of having a summation, we are going to have the integration. So this is going to become V is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught integration of dq divided by R minus Ri. Again, it will be the same thing. Instead of having small individual charges, the charge is scattered all over the place in the form of very small bits in the form of dq. Next, if it is volume charge distribution, just a modification of this one, V volume, potential due to a volume charge, it will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught integration of rho dV, and this V represents volume, divided by R minus Ri, again with the mod. If this was due to a surface, it will be taken as Vs 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught integration of, instead of having a rho into dV, we are going to have a sigma into ds. Sigma represents surface charge density and ds represents the part of the surface where it is distributed. Denominator remains same, R minus Ri with a mod. Then last one, L. When the charge is distributed in the form of a linear charge distribution, 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught integration of lambda into dl divided by R minus Ri. That is again with a mod. So that is how we will be calculating if the charge distribution is given in the form of a continuous charge distribution. If it is given as individual charges, then this thing will be helpful and this equation will give us the answer. Instead of that individual charges, let us say the charge is distributed somewhere like this. It can be a volume, it can be a surface, or it can be a line. If in that case, if the charge is distributed in that way, in that case, we are going to use these three equations. If it is volume, this equation will help. If it is surface, the second equation, and if it is linear, it will be lambda. So these two are general equations, and these three are particular equations which are going to give us for individual situations. If we have a potential due to a sphere, let us say I have my origin here, and this is my y-axis and this is my x-axis. If I want to calculate the potential from O to this point R, O is the origin, which is also the center of the sphere, and R is the radius of the sphere. So in this case, for the inside, the potential remains constant till the radius, and after that it reduces exponentially. So for this region, V will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R, and for this region, V will be proportional to 1 by R. So for the case, for this diagram, if you are able to understand the diagram, it is well and good. If you are not able to understand the diagram, I will give you three situations. Point P is inside the sphere. It is inside the sphere. Inside the sphere, and it can be from 0 till this radius. It is inside the sphere. In that case, V will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R. It is the capital R, not the small r. Second one, or you can take this situation as our small r is less than the capital R. You can think of it in that way. Then point P is on the surface. On the surface means it will be V is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Again it is Q divided by R. In this case what happens is R becomes equal to R. That is, the distance of point P from the center of the sphere will be equal to the radius of the sphere. The third case is the point goes outside. Point P is outside the sphere. In that case, V is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by, it will be small letter r, not the capital letter R. Now this is R is greater than R. That is, the small letter r is greater than the capital letter R. Now just observe, in this case R is going to remain fixed. That means potential is constant inside the sphere. If the point goes to the surface, R becomes equal to R. Here also these two terms will remain constant. But in the third case, as this R, small letter r, becomes greater than this capital letter R, the graph goes down. That means the value of potential falls down as 1 by R. That I have written here. V will be proportional to 1 by R. As we go away from the surface of the sphere, the value of potential goes on decreasing in an exponential way.